training cleaning staff in a hospital on how to clean for this new infectious disease, SARS-CoV-2 virus, COVID-19. And I came out of the hospital around about 8:15. The curfew had started at 8, and I was stopped by 2 policemen. And they said, "What are you doing on the street?" And I said, "I work in the hospital." And I said, "Here's my hospital ID card." And on the back of it, it says, "I'm an essential employee, and here's my emergency pass." And I looked over my shoulder, and there was 15 cleaning professionals coming out of the hospital, the people I had just trained. And I went, "Oh, bugger, they don't have what I have. They don't have one of these passes." And I said to the police officer, "They're all with me." And he said, "All of them?" I said, "Yeah, they're all with me." And I sat around that night and went, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do?" Because you can't go into a dirty hospital in the middle of a pandemic. You can't go into a dirty airport. You can't go into a dirty hotel. And we have really started now on both at the federal government level as well as the state level to ensure that cleaning professionals make that essential employee list. I do as an infectious disease expert, but that's not what we want to do here. We want to ensure that everyone that we advocate for and represent is on that list so they can continue doing their work on a daily basis when there's a disaster, an emergency, or other sort of critical situation. And I can say right now that's not in place. So let's go back to this, Lance. If we want to train 1 million people, which we will do, keep that as our focus. What else do we have to do? Well, as a sidebar, we have to advocate for people both at the federal and state government levels, down to the local level, government level as well, to be considered as essential employees. And the only way we can do that is with an appropriate workforce development program by showing the curriculum, by demonstrating the learning objectives, by demonstrating the skills, the knowledge, and the abilities these people will have and do have, and do it in a way that's formalized. And I think this is the real big opportunity for all of us at the moment, to do a formal workforce development program that we can defend, but we can say we're doing this based on science and evidence, and it's going to protect their health and their safety, as well as that of the environment they clean every day.
Let's talk about the word scale again that you mentioned. This is not just a problem for the U.S. This is a worldwide issue. I mean, you're talking about airports, means of transportation, cruise ships, hospitals. This is all over. I mean, do you see any kind of headway in the rest of the planet?
Yes, it is. And we're seeing some parallels from other industries, Lance, that we could actually look at as models. So again, if I would like to have a formal program in place where cleaning professionals are acknowledged as professional tradesmen or tradespeople. And the plumbers, the electricians, the plasterers, are all recognized as being a trade. Cleaning is a trade. I would go back even further than that. Look at in places like Europe, UK, Australia, Southeast Asia, looking at programs for recognizing trades. How do they do it? How do we get the cleaning professionals to be recognized as a trade? How do we get appropriate courses into community colleges or even universities? One of the examples I use quite often, though, Lance, is the stop and go sign, guys, on construction work on roads. Now, internationally, as well as in many states in the country here, you have to go through a formal training program to be able to hold a stop and go sign. And it's a formal workforce development program. And I went, gosh, if the stop and go sign guy or lady or person has to go through and do a formal training, then that's a really good model for us to look at and say, well, how do we take that back to the cleaning industry and go, where is the formal workforce development program here? And that gives me a lot of optimism, a lot of hope that we can achieve this. But it's going to, again, take a team. And we've started that, again, working with Normie, CPI, Shaw, and many other stakeholders within the cleaning industry, starting to build up what does that master trainer look like, there's that cohort of master trainers, and then again, sit down and look at what are the key learning objectives that are needed to get us recognized as being professionals. We should be recognized as a trade. I thoroughly believe that. And with that, we need to have formalized training. maybe even annual compliance training. I don't know whether it's out there at the moment for the cleaning industry, but what does annual compliance training look like if we're going to be using products, chemistry in disinfectants and cleaning products, as well as equipment that can both do good and harm? That's so important that we continue as a team to advocate for that.
Several years ago when COVID first came on the scene, and I know it's been around a lot longer, but when it became an issue in a pandemic, a lot of tragedy came out of this, but a lot of good discussions did too, and a lot of changes to an industry that desperately needed recognition, changing, and understanding. I think there's hope moving forward.
Oh, Lance, it's exciting. In my career, I've done it previously in other infectious diseases programs I've worked in other sectors I've worked in, both in government and non-government. Do I think it's doable? I wouldn't throw a number out there to train 1 million people in a year if I didn't think it was realistic. And I really do think it's a realistic, doable, achievable goal that we all should have as an industry, and sit down as a team to work out what it needs to go to scale. What are the moving parts? What are the elements that need to be put in place to make that happen? But I think all of us collectively as a cleaning industry should say, let's go for it. Let's go and train 1 million people in a year and be able to do it the next year and the year after. And then once we get that number, we might sit back and go, okay, how do we do better than that?
If we can only get you to become a little bit more passionate about this, it might drive it a little faster.
Well, it's interesting, Lance. As an epidemiologist, working in infectious diseases, both for government and for the private sector for many years, to think that I've now come over into the cleaning industry, which I didn't know a lot about a few years ago. I've learned a few things. I continue to learn things every day, but I see so much opportunity for this industry, and that's what excites me. I think, first of all, recognition. Everyone's got to be recognized for the hard work they do every day. Recognition for the science that goes into the development of our cleaning products, our disinfectants, the active ingredients, the science behind that, get that recognized. Recognition for the tools that we have available for all of us to clean. Again, cleaning for health and the tools that we use for that. So more importantly, it's about being a good advocate, being a steward at the moment for everyone in the cleaning industry to get that recognition I think they deserve. I don't, I do what I do right now, Lance, because I don't think it's there. And I think that's something that I could be successful at helping at, but not just me on my own. It's going to take a team and working with people like Doug and yourself to get that to happen.
Hey, Gavin, as always, it's a pleasure talking to you. It's extremely informative. It's fun. And I appreciate you spending the time here with us.
No, I really appreciate it, and just appreciate what you and Normie are doing right now for the industry. It's fantastic, Lance. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. And we'll do this again.
Be more than happy to.
All righty. Take care.
Bye now.
When you start on the pathway toward professional success, you have to know what the goal is and how to get there. Normie exists to help in that process. It's not just about taking a class to get a license, but also about starting on a pathway to professional success. Whether you want to work for yourself or be the best qualified employee on the team, this path will take you there and help you succeed. Pick a track, click on the class, and get your journey started. Normie is here to support you all the way to become the Normie Pro professional you want to be.